Yo, what up, though?
Hi.
Hey y'all, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Day.
You're supposed to say Friday Eve. Yeah, that's your thing. Leave
Right,
my
Friday Eve.
Thursday. Happy
And
Thursday.
everybody, welcome to Conversations with Mika and Friends, where we keep it real, raw, and respectful. And it's Mika, Nene, and Joyce. And we got a good subject. Serious. We try to go flip flop between serious and fun. I think this is more of one of those real serious um, conversations where we speak about. Today, we're speaking about life
And
insurance.
I didn't know until today that September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. So this was absolutely perfect for us to like dive in, get in tune.
Mhm.
I think we're trying to focus on, you know what I'm saying, like why? Why don't a lot of people have life insurance? That's what we're gonna tap in on today. What are you guys' thoughts on that, Joyce?
Can I throw a real quick one off? So September
Of
is
course.
also National Suicide Prevention Month. National Suicide
Okay.
Prevention Month. So
Is
um,
that this month too?
yeah. So
Wow.
I didn't know that it was life insurance awareness, but it's suicide prevention awareness. And so fun fact, not fun fact, life insurance doesn't cover in the event of suicide. So
Does not. Does not.
um, it's
You
Right.
are right about that.
it's interesting that those two are coupled together. But
Yeah.
um,
And I wonder why that is.
Well, I'm. I mean, I kind of get it.
I
Like,
get it, but
no, I get it. Like you don't. Why would they cover that? Like,
because you decided to end your own life, maybe is that, you know?
yeah, but you're not the one that pays for your final expenses, so that kind of don't work. Like I could see if it was a benefit for you to move forward in that way, but it's not. So I don't know. I know that's a
Yeah.
topic, and I ain't trying to go the dark route. I'm always the one.
Me either. I tell people all
But
the time. If anybody tell you I killed myself, they lying. I'm
that
saying it again. It's live. 3.05 minutes in. God damn it, they lied. But yeah. So why do you guys think that most people it's not of importance for people to have life insurance? Like, let's first of all let's just tap into the benefits of having life insurance. You know, home security, family security, financial burden lifted, you know what I mean? Burial, you know, you get buried and things of that nature, and you can actually leave your family without a financial burden. So
and
why would
you can also start a legacy. Like, you can secure your kids or someone's future after you leave. Um, I feel like having life insurance is like after you're
I
gone,
was gonna
telling
ask
your family, I love you. And
that
I'm very big on life insurance. Of course, you know that, Nene. We've had our own policy since I was 19. You were
23,
17.
20, 23 years ago. I mean, if our kids is
Um,
our oldest children are 23, we got those when they were every bit of about 6 months old, and
and
half them
I have that same policy,
the same policy.
never lapse. And I think that's because my great grandma Sadie instilled in us, you if you don't pay anything, you pay your life
You pay
insurance.
that
If you
life
have to pick
insurance.
between your light bill and your life insurance, you pay your life insurance.
Yeah,
And that always stuck with me.
yeah, absolutely. I have multiple policies.
I do too.
Like, I know that a lot of people just rely on they work policies. But you don't have that anymore if you change jobs or
Right.
if you get fired. Like, so why wouldn't you have your own personal? Me. I feel like people think that life insurance is a scam, and to a certain extent, it is. That's just the same with car insurance. You paying for a what if. But as soon as the what if happens, they like, oh, you're not covered. Oh, this isn't covered. Up, your premium just went sky high. Things of that nature.
Well, here's the difference, I'll say, between insurance and life insurance. I mean, car
Okay,
insurance and life insurance.
okay,
My view. Uh, you may go your whole life without being in a car accident. So yes, you paid into a policy for a what if, but we
right,
all gonna die. That's a
true.
promise.
That's definitely a fact.
But I think there's a part of it too where you can pay for it. Like the very best thing you can do for your family is pay for your final expenses.
True.
Like, and you would
Ooh.
save money if you, instead of paying for my kid's policy from birth till she's 26 and paying for it herself, I could buy her a plot and, pay for all things that would be a funeral, lock in at whatever that rate is at that time because it's gonna keep going
Mm.
up, right?
I'm
And then
you,
you're done with it.
that I've
Mm.
never even like literally thought that like for something to do for myself and my family and kids. But I worked with a lady. Tamika, you remember Dolores
Mm-hmm.
at Walgreens? Like that
Mm-hmm.
was like
Yep.
one of my
Yep.
favorite ladies. Her and her husband Chester had everything paid for, from the burial to the plot to the funeral. She paid for everything so that her kids, that was not a worry for them. So it's just sad to me that a lot of people rely on others through GoFundMe. Like,
Which I
for
can't
me,
stand.
I personally, this is probably about the harshest that I could ever be to anybody. Don't ask me to contribute to your GoFundMe account because the answer is no. And that's just me being honest, because you had or somebody.
Here we go. I'll say though, I don't think people think about the fact that they're gonna die until something bad happens. Like somebody close to you died, then you think about death. Somebody your age died, then you think about death. Somebody, and from where every other minute it seemed like somebody else just died. I don't know how I'm still seeing GoFundMe's from home because it's in our face, but I just don't think people think like that.
Yeah, it is a mindset thing because for me, I'm always thinking about leaving a legacy, and my passing can pretty much, I'm always thinking about my children, and it can pretty much set them up for life. They can, if I'm gone, they can take my insurance, and I have one where my house will be paid off. I have different things set up to whereas I want certain properties and stuff invested in. So it's bigger than me just passing. I want to leave money flowing so that they're okay. But at the same time, you have to make sure that they're financially responsible. Other than that, they'll just blow it. And I've seen people do that as well. A parent passes, they get the money, and the next month you don't even see it. Like they stupidly just blew it on bullshit, which is one of the things that upsets me, or I think people should start thinking about now while we're living. Like, we pop bottles, Motherfuckers buy sections and like literally
Jordans.
a dude to be in the club throwing money on a stripper,
And
get
ain't
shot in the
got
parking
no
lot,
life,
and
and
then his family
ain't got no
posting a
life insurance.
GoFundMe because he ain't pay $20 a month for a fucking policy. Like, that's idiotic to me.
And I think there's a lot of foresight that you have to think that way, right? Like, I sold life insurance for a little minute, so I know what happens when you have pre-existing conditions, what happens to your rates. When you're older and you need the insurance, I know what happens to your rates. And when you're talking about somebody, because really we should be talking about a GoFundMe for Big Mama. We shouldn't be talking about no GoFundMe for these people that's working age. That's ridiculous. But it should be the people that have dwindled down their resources, that have, came from humble beginnings and kind of stayed in that space, and insurance is so expensive that they couldn't afford it. That's what we should be talking about. We're talking about people that's out here balling out of control, and then as soon as something happens, then there's no one or nothing, to cover it. You don't want to be worth more dead than alive, though, either, because for a lot of people,
that's the case.
That's the case. Most for the average person, that's the case.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, so what's unaffordable? Because what's unaffordable for insurance? Like, most life insurance is less than your car insurance.
Is actually less than an actual car note per year. I pay my life insurance by the year. Literally, I pay $590 something dollars per year, and that's for myself, both my two kids, and I got my baby daddy on there. Like, what? Who you talking to today?
I think that depends on your circumstance, because your age, your health, and where you live all can make your rates go up. And so it's not, I mean, $500 a year is awesome, but I know when I was selling life insurance, I quoted somebody over $500 a month just based on lifestyle and pre-existing conditions.
But that's also a difference between term and whole life. Whole life insurances tend to be more expensive than term life policies, because that is actually something that you can borrow against. Like, you can get some of that money right now in the living state. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of people actually end up doing. And then when it's time to bury them, they done cashed out on they shit for so many times. They still ain't got enough money to bury somebody. Like, I just, like, when you say Big Mama and them and stuff like that, I feel like, like, that's our responsibility or whatever. But like you said, like, but if they have like pre-existing conditions, I know that is a reason. That should be the only reason why you can't get a life insurance policy, is because you had cancer in the past, or if you had, like you said, a heart condition in the past. But if my mama got to a point, my mom's not gonna work forever. Like, that I know. So then that falls on me and my sisters to make sure that we're taking care of that policy, that when she does, take her final bow, there's nothing that needs to be worried about on our end, because it's going to fall on us anyways to actually bury her. So why not pay the policy?
Right.
So yeah, that's just, how I feel about it. But I just don't feel like there's no excuse.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no excuse.
And with pre-existing, that'll be, okay, that happens. That's if you didn't take the time or get the knowledge to purchase
prior. Right.
So,
because you ain't always sick, basically, is what she's saying.
I mean, if you're a type 1 diabetic, you was born with a pre-existing condition, and it's always going to be expensive to cover you. You can still get coverage, yeah, but it's more expensive.
True, but you
see, I agree, and I agree with that. Self-accumulated wealth. So if you already rich,
right,
very wealthy, you
got the money. You got the money.
You got
the kids well off. Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm in training, so I'm doing this, and I got them in my ear. I got them all in my ear.
That's okay. Did Ebony come back in? Because
She did not come back in yet.
Oh, okay, because she had left a chat saying that she would come back.
Yeah, I saw.
Well, we do have a potential guest today, guys, that actually helps and educates and sells life insurance, to other people. We're just gonna wait for her to settle back and come back around and jump on in here so that she can drop some jewels on us, hopefully. And
I have someone too. I don't know. Am I saying your name right? Asia. She's very knowledgeable on life insurance. Are you able to drop in and explain some things if I send you the link?
because that would be great, because people just, knowledge is power. And you can't be ignorant to certain things, forever. But I did see T just say that, like, even diabetic is a you can die from being a diabetic. Like, that's crazy. Because diabetes leads to other things, heart disease, heart failure, kidney. It leads to other things. There she go. Y'all say what's up to Miss Ebony Unique. She is in the building with us today, and she is coming to drop some gems on us.
I was listening to y'all and helping somebody on the dang on Zoom, but y'all said a lot of everything I wanted to touch on.
But you know what? But you are the expert, so it's okay to hear that coming from somebody who actually sells it. And if you're, able and willing to answer any questions, that anybody could possibly have for you, that would be great. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and we are happy to have you.
Hey, you all. So I am Ebony Unique. I am a life insurance agent, and I'm currently now studying for my health insurance. Because after learning so much about life insurance and now, just learning, just kind of having to tie it all together to help everybody out kind of around the board with the life insurance, the health insurance, and different things like that. But what I will chime in on, as far as like y'all mentioned car insurance. So what I tell people is, because people, of course, these cell phones insured. Everybody want to insure these cell phones. Mm-hmm. They insure the cars. They insure the houses, but they don't insure themselves.
Yeah.
And they tend to look at it like you say a scam, because some people feel like, well, I can't utilize it for me. It's not for you.
Right. It's not for you.
That's right. Who you leaving behind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I ask people questions like, okay, so you got everything else insured but yourself, but you die today because you're gonna die. And I try to find a word to sugarcoat it sometimes with people,
but
like
sometimes you can't
find another way to say it, but it's not another way to say it. We all
that's why.
But when that happens, the car insurance not giving your family a check. The cell phone people not giving your family a check.
I am not Jarvis.
Nobody is giving your family a check but the life insurance company. And it's good to have the plots and everything, pre-pay up front. That's all fine, but still have something left behind. It's all about, leaving that legacy. Like growing up, we always wonder how the white people was rich, or how those kids, even going to Spawn growing up and being around, predominantly white kids in the school, you see them with money. They finally look like they got money. And it's like, Dad, how they get this? How they get to go on vacations like every Christmas break or spring vacation and stuff like that? And I found out that I was getting older. It's the life insurance, a lot of it.
Right. So what do
way to wealth besides the real estate?
Right. What do you think? Like, what's a good amount to have? Like, because I think some people get it twisted where, again, they do want to be hood rich off of a life insurance policy. What is a good amount, that you would recommend for people like who is kind of skeptical about it, but they are coming on board and say like, oh yes, I should go ahead and invest in this? What's a good number for them to say, hey, I want this amount or that amount?
If they on a budget I say at least a year or two of your salary if you on a budget. But if you can afford it, they say at least 10 times your salary.
So a $10,000 policy ain't shit, basically.
Nah. 30 years ago it was. It was a lot back in the day. But now, because even since the pandemic, the prices went up.
Right.
Cremations used to be the cheaper way, but that's right up there now with you having a regular burial. And so much going to play with it. Just for me being friends with a funeral director, even with cremation, like they still have to get your body ready. Like it's so you still have to pay for so many things as if you're gonna have a full funeral.
Can you speak to what pricing looks like for a funeral?
Right.
Now, a basic regular funeral is averaging between $12,000 and $15,000.
Wow. When at some point in time it used to be 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm. So now in the last 3 years, at least 15,000 to just have you right there, and that's not going overboard. We not talking about the carriage rides, and this just to get you in the ground.
Got you.
And just to put color to what she's saying, that's not your flowers and the pretty and the frills. We talking about your casket and a place in the ground for you to go. We're talking $15,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we got another guest that I would like to introduce. She is also very knowledgeable on life insurance. And here's another thing. I don't know if either one of you know or want to talk about how one of my friends had noted that, little do we know, a lot of big businesses are thriving or became big businesses because of life insurance, of these policies that they've taken out. I think I'm saying your name right. Is it Asia?
Yes, you said it right.
I love the way it's spelled.
Me too.
The way it's
thank you. My mom did it.
Would you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do as well? And welcome.
Hello, beautiful ladies, and hello to everyone that's tuned in. I hope y'all are having a wonderful evening. I am Asia Jackson. I'm originally from Jackson, Mississippi, and I am basically a licensed financial coach. I help people along the lines of life insurance, debt management, retirement planning, anything dealing with financial services. I'm basically your girl. For me, I'm a big financial literacy advocate. A big advocate for life insurance. The primary reason why I ultimately joined the financial services industry was because 6 years ago, my mom passed away. And at the time, I was only 18 years old. The very next day, I turned 19. And I knew little to nothing about money. My family knew very little to nothing about money. We struggled to even have a proper funeral service because we didn't have any coins to make that happen. And my mom was a very strong and smart young lady, but I feel like had she been knowledgeable about things like this, and somebody could have been in place to talk to her about the importance of life insurance, my siblings and I would have probably had an easier transition. There's a lot of difficulty in the burial process, but nobody talks about how hard it is to survive after you've lost a breadwinner.
Absolutely.
And so I typically use my story as my fuel, and also as my way to steer others in my community in the right direction to where they don't have to go through what I experienced, basically.
And I feel like that's also, just hearing that story, that is enough for a lot of people to just jump on board, because you don't think about it still from that aspect. My mom, my dad's usually the breadwinners. And, I know a lot of women that have lost their husbands, and, you just don't think about it from that aspect. So just hearing that story should be enough motivation, I feel like, for anybody to be like, okay, just give me the policy. You know what I mean?
Right. I was 18 at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine, and I guess my mom knew something I didn't, or she saw something inside of me. But you know, at only the age of 18, she had listed me as power of attorney. You know, I was, when it came to her medical paperwork and everything, we was at the hospital, so I was pretty much listed over everything. But I had no money, no life insurance to get anything together, and it was so very hard. And then, like I said, surviving after the fact, I was still in college. She paid for everything, so it was days where I had to choose between whether I would get my textbooks or whether I would get something to eat for the day. It was extremely hard. My siblings and I, we had to split up and go our different ways. We could no longer stay at the house. I mean, what funds did we have to keep it? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's just a lot that people need to be aware of, because a lot of people are in this mind frame that it can never happen to them. It won't happen to them anytime soon. I don't know if people just feel like they are exempt, but you know, it happened at a time in my life where I feel like everything was going good. You know, like I said, I was really young, had no financial responsibilities. Mom took care of everything. And then, you know, like a thief in the night, it was all gone just like that. So I tell people all the time, you know, life insurance is the easiest tool to generate, you know, generational wealth. We oftentimes, I know y'all was talking about earlier, all the GoFundMe links and things like that. And I think we're pretty much accustomed to it because, you know, there's a mentality that's tied to that. As a community, we have a lot of trauma that comes when it comes to life insurance, when it comes to money, when it comes to finances. And just being able to understand the root cause of all of that is the reason why I go so hard to be able to try to help people out with these matters, because like I said, I experienced it firsthand and it was really hard. So I try to do what I can so that people can avoid that.
Yeah, absolutely. We my sister threw like a whole insurance party, Wow. So now, because
it's a celebration.
It is. We're very passionate about it. And it's always the why. So I'll ask you, just like I asked Ebony, like, why do you think people don't think that it's of importance to have it?
I think that just off of my experience of being in the industry, I can admit that there are agencies, there are companies who particularly don't work in the best interest of the client. People have been sold bogus policies to where, you know, things hit the fan, and when it's time to cash in, there's X, Y, and Z, or why this policy can't be, you know, paid out. They
that is true.
For this, they're taking extra premiums for you know, the back pay for the premiums that they probably missed. So I think the essence in that is to just basically educate people on the right type of product, the one that'll best fit their, you know, family's financial needs. And like y'all mentioned earlier, we absolutely recommend to be covered for at least 10 to 15 times your annual salary, for the simple reason, like I said, you still have to survive after the funeral has, you know, taken place. You know, first of the month gonna roll right back around. The bills ain't stopped. So we need something in place that'll help us to be able to maintain that. And a lot of times, like I said, people run into issues where, you know, they have the wrong type of product and, you know, they can't pay it out. So that would be one reason. Secondly, I would say generally when I'm sitting down with people, there are only 3 reasons why they aren't insured. The first one would be, most people say, hey, I just haven't gotten around to it. 2, I thought it was way too expensive. Or 3, which is probably very rarely I hear this, but they say they just don't see the need for it, or that they don't care. But all of those reasons typically just tie into, like I said, the stigmas of how we have our relationship and our trauma that's tied to, you know, life insurance and money and things like that. So that's what I believe.
Okay, and that's crazy too. And it's a big thing also to be truthful with your life insurance policies. Like, you can't claim to be a non-smoker and you're a smoker and then you fucking die from lung cancer. They're not paying you. Like, they're
right.
Not like, it, you know, it's things of that nature that you have to understand as well. Like, but it's so important, you know what I'm saying, that like, just be truthful about, you know, what it is that you going on or that you have going on. Like, true enough, yes, my premium is probably going to be a little bit higher because I am a smoker, but that is something that needs to be disclosed. Like, you can't, like, you know, just, I'm not going to tell them I smoke. You know what I mean? Like, but then, you know, God going to show you, bitch, you about to die from lung cancer. Like, how you get that?
Well, that's not funny.
And I like for people
It's not funny.
Before it even gets that far, right? And I tell people all the time, the cost of insurance is strictly only based on two things: how old you are and how healthy you are. If you hear anything else, it's false. So I tell people, especially our young people, it's so important to go ahead and lock this stuff in now, so you can go ahead and obtain an affordable premium and maintain that, you know, throughout the entirety of the policy. Now, of course, like I said, being it is based on age and health, it's safe to assume that, you know, of course, the older we get, our health typically declines. So we're more likely to develop illnesses. We're more likely to develop all these different things. Now, when we're in a place where we actually need this stuff, now it's either
it's harder,
and it's hard, and it's expensive.
Right. Or I'm at a point where I'm uninsurable now because I didn't wait until I didn't got this illness. Now I don't even qualify. You know what I'm saying? So I tell people all the time, go ahead and get this stuff, lock it in while you're young and healthy, or even if you're not even young, you kind of in your, you know, mid age. Go ahead and get it and lock it in now before you, you know, get something. Just to
before you get something,
because they can't take it after that. Is that right?
Yeah, they won't be able to take it now. I am partnered with a company that does work with the people that's typically categorized as uninsurable or high risk, but even still, right, that premium, they're gonna have to pay for that, right? You can't just up and get something just because you're at a stage now where you absolutely need it. I mean, we understand that, but you have to take into, you know, consideration the risk factor that the company is taking on by insuring you. So, you know, either way, I mean, it's going to be expensive. So, like I said, I tell people all the time, go ahead and lock this stuff in while you got a chance, because when it's too late, it's too late.
It's too late, right? And that was, you actually answered my question, because that was my next one. Because, like, I know that there is insurance companies out there, you know what I'm saying, that don't care about pre-existing conditions, and a policy can be obtained, but it's going to be at a higher premium, just so that everybody understands that. Yeah.
Right. And then you run into the people, they feel like because it's so expensive and now the premium is not as high as it would have been if you got it when you were younger. So like now you younger, you can get a $200,000 or $300,000 policy for probably $30-something a month. You in your 50s and 60s, and now you don't have a heart attack. You on 10 medications, like you got all this stuff going on, and now you only qualify for about $12,000, but that policy gonna run you about $100. So now it's like, that's all I get. You waited late.
Right.
Now, and see, the crazy part about it is that, see, here where my ignorance kick in at, because I thought I was doing some good shit around here. Like I said, I got 3 policies, right? But so if you're talking to a person that only makes $40,000 a year, they should have a $400,000 policy. Basically, is what y'all telling me. I gotta step my
They
game
should.
Up. They should. Like we said, they should be covered for at least 10 to 15 times that amount. But I mean, in the event that they can't, they just
most of the time they can't afford that with that salary. So at that point, that's why I say at least 2 years salary if you on a budget. You can't afford that 400,000. You can work to it.
But if the equation is 10 times your salary, and the people that make 6 figures can afford to bury themselves, should be able to afford to bury themselves and leave something for their family, all life insurance aside. So it's really mainly impacting those that are in that lower income or, you know, mid-America's income. So why? Help me understand why you would aim to leave so much behind.
So much money?
Yeah.
Why you would, or
why would you? If you
instead of just
you gotta struggle to make if you have to struggle to make the premiums because you're at 40,000, why would you struggle to make a premium to leave behind 400,000? Like, if you want to make sure that your family is okay after, that's not making sure they're okay. That's setting them up for success, but making you struggle while you're here.
There's
a life balance in it.
Right. So for that amount of policy at $40,000 a year, they can't afford that.
So they wouldn't buy it.
Depending on the company and how old they are,
Right.
They probably can't afford a $400,000 policy if they only making $40,000.
Right.
So just start where you can and just kind of work your way up to that. Now, every year, if you leave on that question that says you want this to increase every year, if you can afford that increase every year, then you can work yourself up to it.
Absolutely. And it's so crazy because I got an appointment on Monday to get these insurance policies upped, beneficiaries in line. I got them, but I want it set in stone. Like I want to sit down with my agent.
And I don't think I don't think it's about struggle when you have to decide what's more important to you priority wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I know, like, so let's just use females as an example because I already used the men. Y'all paying
$400 for
I'm saying y'all because I don't. Hair done plus the weave to put in it $600. Nails $150. Y'all
Lashes,
doing all of that,
right?
And this is monthly, if not every couple weeks. But you can't pay $50 to secure your funeral and make sure that your kids are okay after you're gone. So it was more important for you to pop that nice ass weave on Facebook for likes.
And it's all a mindset.
It is a mindset.
They think they got time. Like I spoke to someone yesterday about it, and she was like, "Oh, I got a few weeks." I said, "How you know?
How do you know?
Because you live this long, you think you okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can put it off because so far you've been safe."
Right.
And I think our job as agents is extremely important because it's up to us to instill that value of, insurance, life insurance for them. Like I said, a lot of people aren't prioritizing that. Like you said, they go get their hair done, go get their nails done, things like that. But, when it comes to life insurance, they get a little bit skeptical. Oftentimes because, like I said, people don't understand the product, and two, they don't see the value. And by they don't see the value, a lot of people just only think that life insurance is strictly for burial.
Yeah.
You can put plans in place, after the burial, you have money, to kind of do something with. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this policy. You can pay for your kids' college, you can pay off a home.
You can pay out. I was just about to say that. It's like all type of policies out there. Your significant other passes away. You got a policy that's going to pay off your $200,000 home so that you don't have that burden.
Struggle.
Yeah, you don't want that burden. Like,
and don't get me
right because that income is gone.
And don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking people's self-care. You know what I mean?
But that also could be a part of self-care.
Oh, I'm knocking.
It's all self-care is whatever you make it. If that makes you feel good that I paid my life insurance bill, then goddamn it, I'm about to sit down and have me a glass of wine. It's all.
But see, you did it correctly though. Most people ain't paying that. They just going and doing whatever. Like you said, you're gonna pay your premium first, and then you're gonna go treat yourself. Most people don't even have a premium to pay, but they getting their hair done every 2 weeks. Like again, where are the priorities?
Where are your priorities?
And then you find out a lot of times, those people just not your client.
True.
Like certain people now, since I've been doing this, the little time I've been doing it, and I don't even reach out to certain people or like market it because those are ones because they don't see the value in it. They may see it out after you talk to them and make them feel, they feel a little bad.
That's all I'm about to say, Ebony. Do y'all scare the shit out of their ass? Bitch,
if they really don't see the value in it, that policy gonna last.
Now, I don't scare them, but I give them the real now. I'm like, look, I'm gonna paint the picture for you because, like I said, I've been through this, so I'm gonna tell you what's real and what's not, and it's real out here. It gets hard, and it ain't nothing to play with. So I tell people all the time, you can keep procrastinating all you want to, and a lot of people have this mind frame. I actually sell with a lot of people, and they're like, well, what's it to me? I ain't gonna be here. Completely selfish.
Wow.
Very selfish.
You're putting that love on.
They say all type of crazy stuff. Now out here by me, where I live at, and in this town by you, Nene, a
Uh-huh.
lot of the people donate their bodies now to science. So I had to do some research on that because they like, oh, I don't need it. I donate my body to science because they family don't have to pay for burial if you donate it to the college.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll say there's an element of that too, that it's just a lack of education, right?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Doing research, I find out everybody's body not accepted for the science.
My dad
it's a process, takes like 6 months to a year to see if you even qualify. Depending on your pre-existing condition, they don't want your body for science.
Right.
So now you sitting around here thinking you can donate it. I can wait because I'm a donated, and you get older and do the application. Now you don't even qualify even to go to the science.
Right. Damn. That's
so
crazy.
You still messed up.
So as a person that sells things, right, no matter what you sell, you have to know how to remove objections, remove barriers, and create urgency. So how do you create urgency for people insuring their children? Because when we think about having time, right, you don't think about your 3-year-old dying, not before you. Right?
But I think you should in 2022 when women and children are off limits. These kids dying at a rate faster than
it's all the young ones now.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm asking as a person that sells, what do you say to parents? How do you create that urgency and the importance of life insurance for someone whose life expectancy is longer or ideally is longer?
I'll just paint the picture to them of it, and just we just kind of talk about what's going on now in the world. You know, like the 4-year-old that drowned at the dang on swimming lessons the first day, or the drive-by shootings. You in the McDonald's line and drive through, and then some little girl and got killed because they shooting at her daddy. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of paint that picture, and if they daddy in the street, from what they tell me, I really paint the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm just like, look, he in the street. He riding around with your baby in a car, you know, he go deep, and then they see it like, oh yeah, okay.
I can hear you saying that too, just like that with that neck.
And then they get it on themselves. So of course now you have to put your child on that now because you're getting it for yourself. Mm-hmm. But I still paint the picture. If the children die before you die before them, we all gonna die. We not making it out of here alive. They can die in their sleep.
Right.
Kids, newborn, and I let them know, like, look, that baby here 7 days old, put them on this policy. 7 to 14 days old, put them on this policy.
Right.
Don't waste
that
no
baby
time.
can die
Don't
too.
wait.
And like she said, you just gotta pay.
And I be on them. Like if they post a picture, and you know everybody want to sleep with their baby, and they holding the baby a certain way, because I used to be in daycare, so I even know how the kids can just so easily die from suffocation. I'm on their line. They probably get tired of me.
Right.
Like, look, I know it's a cute picture, but be careful holding that baby that way, or sleeping with baby in the bed with you, and just under your arm, and just like certain things like that. Like put a policy on.
Right. And like I said, a lot of people, like you just said, we all not making it out of here alive. Like that's one thing that's guaranteed, that we all got to pass away. And, you know, the urgency that we have to, you know, pay our car insurance every month, even though we hadn't gotten into an accident all month, well, I'm going to pay it just in case I get into one. There's no just in case you're going to die. You are. Like, you are. People need to internalize that. You are going to leave here one day. So, you know, make sure that you have that guarantee in place. Like I said, we paying our car insurance, we paying our cell phone insurance, every other bill we're paying. But the only thing that's going to give back to our families once we pass away is our life insurance. The dealership gonna come and repossess our car and clean it up, put it back on the lot to sell to the next person. The landlord gonna come and get our house, take our house from us and put it back on the market to lease.
The job gonna replace you. I mean, that's just what it is. That's just what it is. I agree with that 100%.
And stop crying to us for money with y'all GoFundMes, because
I tell you all the time,
you know my internet be ending dumb food.
Yeah,
the fish fries, the car washes, all the crazy mess.
You seen Jarvis said,
I'm sorry.
You better put on my GoFundMe. I will fucking not. Ain't you in Dubai right now?
Jarvis cool. That
he's good. I already know. I know he fucking with me. But the answer is no. I love you. No.
Right.
I will not. I'm not giving you not one of my pennies.
You
had every opportunity in the world.
Policies for they didn't keep them on the books. They let them lapse, and you know, when relatives or someone passed away, They hit me up like, Asia, okay, so what do we do now? I'm like, baby, your policy left. Ain't nothing I can do for you at this point. I did my part when I came and sat with you and got your family properly protected. And, you know, I did what I could. I was in touch with y'all every other month to make sure, hey, you paying this premium. The home office called me and said, you know, your policy almost left because they ain't got a payment for you. What's up? Mm-hmm. Y'all got all these different excuses. And now somebody done died, and then y'all in my inbox, somebody, what can I do? Well, since none left, can I donate what I can to GoFundMe? No, I can't donate what I can. I did what I could. And that's it.
No.
Right. Like it's too late. And even with the police killings of all the black men that everybody want to be in uproar about, it's bad. But if you think about it, if everybody had at least $1 million on their sons and baby daddies and husbands, you think they'll be killing them at the rate they are?
Sure won't.
If everybody had at least $1 million on every black man walking around,
girl, you
better shut up.
Holy brutality.
Message right there.
That's a damn message.
Them insurance companies gonna get to talking. They gotta pay out millions of dollars every week, day, month because the police killed a black man.
I need you to create that as a post that can be shared because
baby,
that was deep right there.
Yeah.
Like,
meaning you got that. You got to keep that part for the reals.
That'll solve the problem. That'll stop the killing.
Man,
it's all political.
Having a monetary value to people that'll definitely put in.
But you
got to be worth something. To a lot of people, we ain't worth nothing.
We ain't worth shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put a damn clause in the shit for some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like they changed the game when we get hip. They changed all the rules.
You're right. You got to
find out about it.
But that was a
damn good ass. But you know, I feel like that's a valid ass point too, because I feel like that can create change in what is happening right now on a daily basis.
Because their thought process would be they don't want to give us the wealth.
Yeah.
So we got a question.
They won't get the wealth.
He said, I walked away. Did you all talk about secondary and primary insurance?
We
that
did
sounds
not.
More like medical. Is that medical?
Yeah, that sounds like medical to me.
Something dealing with health insurance.
The health insurance.
Have a specific question
to answer your question, your primary insurance is going in health insurance. Your primary insurance is going to cover whatever they don't cover. Your secondary typically picks it up. Yeah. Or whatever. So that's why you'll find a lot of people who have like a HMO, but then they got Medicaid or something as a secondary, or you're on your husband's insurance and then your work insurance is a secondary. But yeah, that's more medical.
Mm-hmm.
So and I was speaking regarding this subject earlier, and I was saying that I'm always using us as an example, our family. So my great grandmother, she just, like, from the time I can remember conversations when we were like 5 and 6, where she always grilled about life insurance, where she would say, if you had to choose between the light bill or your life insurance, pay your life insurance, because the lights gonna get cut off. I mean, what's gonna happen if you're not here? They gonna cut the lights off. You know,
in a light bill, you can make a goddamn payment arrangement.
And you can make a payment arrangement.
Your money,
right?
But I said that to say that I was thinking on the subject, and she instilled that so much that we have not buried anyone where we had to ante up to bury them, to get
as
the
family
together as a family. When I say everybody's insured, I mean it. Like, we've never had to ask or say, oh, hey, y'all, as a family, you know, who can do this and who has what or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Covered.
The only thing we ever anteed up on was a headstone for her.
Right.
Was a headstone.
But it's a conversation. And I think that's the part that, you know, I appreciate this platform and that the conversation is there because everybody's family isn't saying that, right? I didn't, when my family started talking about death and what do you want to do if something happens to you is when my dad randomly died, right? And so now we got this death. We didn't even have money to come together, like to all meet in the same place to say goodbye to him properly. You know what I mean? And so at that moment, it's not even about the life insurance. It's about life planning. Like, damn, everybody ain't got plane ticket money. Like, we need to, that to me was a pivoting point in my life because I felt like how horrible. He was somebody that said he wanted to be donated to science anyway, just because of some of the crazy shit he did and how he lived his life. But oh my God, he was gone. His body was physically gone for a full month before we got him back to even be able to start talking about having a funeral. Can you imagine being a wife and you got to wait a month to even say goodbye to your husband, or being a child and you got to wait a full month to have the opportunity to even have the remains so that you can start talking about now what? It wasn't anything left. Right. And so to say I can't, because I was buying hair and get my nails done. I don't get my nails done, but I'm just saying because I was doing those things, I can't say goodbye to my dad. That to me is the game changer. So when I sold life insurance, that was the picture that I painted for people. You know what I mean? I couldn't even fly to where my mom was to console her because I couldn't afford it because I spent my money at the club and fucking off. Right,
but your hair look good, girl. Your hair look real good.
You know, and you out here throwing it while you popping bottles.
Shit on the top of your damn dry hate wig.
And I just believe that it is completely and utterly selfish to not leave behind any arrangements for your own funeral. Like people don't even put that into perspective. This is your death. This is your funeral. You're responsible for it. So, you know, make sure you're making the preparations to take care of it. Even like I said, people only think that, you know, life insurance is for burial means. A lot of people don't even understand the fact that if you have accumulated some type of debt, when you pass away, that debt rolls down to the next of kin. What have you left behind so we can take care of your student loans so I won't have to pay for them? What have you left behind so I can pay off these credit cards you done ran up? You know what I'm saying? Like it's things like that where people need to have something in place to take care of. Like she said, people couldn't even travel together and meet up. Same with me and my family. We didn't have no money to do nothing. We all on the phone trying to figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul because nothing was there. And like I said, it's just completely selfish to not leave behind anything, you know, to take care of those matters because again, this is your funeral. Like
and the sad thing is it's so much more common to not have it. And that has to change.
I'm wondering what the statistics are. Like, what percentage of people don't have? Like,
it's a big number. I just looked at the statistics yesterday. I want to say about 70% of households are uninsured, and then there's a small percentage that are underinsured.
I think Nene brought up a good point though in saying really early on, she said, you depending on having it through your job, what if you lose your job? And honestly, that was something, and that was something that I hadn't thought of because I always work. Right. But then in that interim, you change, you leave your job, you start anew, and it's 60 days before you cover it. Anything can happen in 60 days. Right. And you retire, your benefits change after you retire. People ain't staying on jobs 20 and 30 years and retiring from there anymore. So what happens after that? And now you're a senior and you don't have anything. And now you got to go out into the market at that age with those, you know, with that health status and try to find something there. So I think that was golden in and of itself. But again, where do these conversations start? It's like we learn so much in school, but we ain't learned none of this right here that we really needed to know for real.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing to have to do with wealth.
And well, you know, the crazy part about it understanding the product and the benefits, like we said, like you said, a lot of people not even looking into those clauses, you know, when they signing up for those work benefits and everything. And what a lot of people come to find out that in that, you know, that group life, because that's what it's called group life. 3 things about it, right? You're splitting the premium. So if you were to transport that benefit, if you were to leave and get another job, now your premium will go up because you're no longer splitting it between you and all the rest of the coworkers and staff that are under that employer. Secondly, the clause do state that you must be categorized as an active employee. That means no sick leave. That means you went out of work for 2 weeks after an accident. You was here, reported on time every day.
What?
In my case, most people don't qualify as active.
You have to be active.
What?
Yep.
Maternity leave, anything that takes you away from the job, you're not active.
Yep.
So you're not
Get
covered.
out of here.
No, you're not. Like
And-
when I just came off of medical leave, bitch, they want they $377 payment so that my health insurance is caught up. They don't play no games. They don't play with you.
And then you're not the owner of that policy.
Sure
And
not.
a lot of people think they own it because they taking a couple dollars out your check. It's not yours.
But it's free
job.
though. That's the thing. Unless you paying into it, the most part of it is free. Like I don't pay anything for my life insurance policy that I have through my job right now, not a penny, unless I decided to up it and pay into it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
So in
you
that
don't
case,
even think
then
about
that's
how-
your employer's insurance policy.
Yeah. And
Anything
you got to
happen
think
to you,
about
they
this.
good.
What I found out too. They
But-
control if they want to pay your beneficiaries or not
Yep.
because it's their policy.
True story. My mom
That
worked
job
for
owns
service master for 8 years. A couple days after she had passed, I went up there and I'm like, I know my mom got something. She been here so long. Can y'all just help me locate the paperwork and help me situate everything? Them folks told me she ain't got nothing. I said, now I done seen a couple of my mom's checks though. She going through the mail and stuff. I see y'all taking out little money here and there. You of course taxes, but I know she was paying into benefits. Baby, them folks told me nope, they ain't got nothing for me.
Wow.
But you don't you don't even know how often your active status changes, right? And so if you are out of work for 3 consecutive days, your employer can put you on leave. 3 days. That's why you got to have a doctor's note to come back. If you go out with COVID, something simple that everybody doing. When you go out on COVID, you're on leave. So if you go out with COVID and then you die, your insurance is not going to pay out because you're not active because you're on leave. Do you know what I'm saying?
So many people, I'm good. I got life insurance through my job.
Yeah, and then another thing happened. A friend of mine, her husband worked on his job about 15 years, maybe at Ford, I think, out there in Chicago. And he came home from work, just a typical day to work. Came in, ate dinner, took a shower, went to sleep, and then wake up. Only policy they had was through that job, and they did not pay out.
Wow.
Because he didn't die on the job.
What?
They said if he had a dad in the break room,
you got to die on the job. That's what active means.
Wasn't
you
at work.
got to actively be there.
Yeah. So it's that fine print that people don't know.
Wow.
They just say, "Oh, I got it at work. I'm fine." Like, no. So that's why I always post about have a policy outside of your job.
And it's so crazy because like I believe Joyce asked like, how do we change the narrative? And that's just by, if you got 5 people on here, that's all 5 of us actively speaking about it. Because I had a lady at work and she's like, no, I don't have a life insurance policy on me or my son, but her husband have got one. I'm like, bitch, why you ain't got one? Go get you some life insurance for you and that baby. That baby.
You don't both y'all.
She got it. Like,
no, for real though.
And it only took a conversation of us, me and her having just a simple conversation, and me just asking like, but why? Like, why don't you have one? And it was so funny because I saw her last week, and she was like, Nene, guess what? I got life insurance on me and Davis. I was like, go girl. So like, I mean, it really just takes, you know what I'm saying, just having a conversation sometime. And, doing things like what Nitra did is hosting, an insurance party. She hosted a whole insurance party where you had snacks, drinks, massages, everything. Like, just come and indulge in this and just listen. So even if you can get one person to sign up, you've done your job.
Right. That's why I said a big portion of the responsibility is on us, because just thinking as a regular person within the community, a lot of us don't know where we can go to get the help, who we can talk to. Most people just say, hey, I'm gonna look online and see what type of insurance out there and sign up for, and don't know what the hell they want to sign up for, and then they being ripped off. Whereas it's up to us, I feel like, to make them aware of the accessibility. Like, we're out here. It's people that look like me and you that's gonna help you get this stuff together.
Y'all used to knock on doors. No,
right.
Girl, look, lately I've been going out there. They've been like, You guys still come out. We don't, but
But
I'm
I
out
do.
here.
No, that's right.
I'm out here
Right.
passing out this star now. Look. And another thing, people take the cheap way. I got it through my bank. That's the worst life insurance policy you can have.
I didn't even
I
know
never
you
even
could
heard
do
of that.
You know the bank send you those accidental deaths.
Oh,
$2 because they not gonna cover it. It's only accidental. And the way you have to die
It's
for them to
by
give your
accident.
family anything, it's almost like Final Destination.
Yeah.
That's funny.
oh my God.
That's funny.
Like you gotta
I
be
said,
thrown
people just
from the
don't even
car like
understand
10
the process.
feet. You couldn't have stopped breathing on the scene, or you have to stop breathing on the way. Like it's crazy, and it's a ripoff, and that's why it's $2.
But the good news is that you just spoke that verbally, so people know now.
They don't even cover childbirth. So y'all walk around here pregnant, putting y'all money in the bank, paying y'all $2 and $3 a month, and you go have a baby, you can die. They not paying out for childbirth.
That's why I said, where
Lord
does the conversation come from? Because nobody thinks about that you could die when you have a baby. People think about you about to go and have a baby, right? So what does the communication look like? Or even with families, like to Ms. Jackson's point, if when people have coverage, you're supposed to tell your family that you got coverage so that they know who to call when something happens. And I will be 100% honest in saying, if something happened to my mom today, I don't know who to call. I don't even know. I got her physical address.
But
I
that's
don't
the
even
people that don't even know they
conversation
the
you have
beneficiary.
now.
Because people they think you're gonna kill them if they tell you that they the beneficiary.
Now that's
So it's so many unexplained life insurance policies. People
Child,
dying
these
doing
folks
those
don't even have a decent
may have
coverage
a
amount to
policy.
even be killed over. Like,
They didn't
child,
tell
ain't nobody finna do 10 plus years in prison over no $50,000 policy. Get out of here.
Yeah. So you got people that died because they never had that conversation with the family. They don't even know where to find a policy, or even though they have a policy.
So that's a conversation that you can now have with your mom.
So I call the beneficiaries.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tell them how much because you can't disclose that information, but I let them know, like, hey, your sister, mother, whoever, they put you down as a beneficiary. If anything happens, say my number, call me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't
They don't know. They put people down and don't tell them. They just don't know the business.
Yeah, and that's so crazy because, like I said, I got an appointment to update it and all that stuff like that, and like my boyfriend came and he was like, I don't know any of that information, and I'm looking at him like, why not? And he was like, because you ain't never gave it to me. Prime example of one person handling things and not like so now I got to go find a fucking policy so that he has access to it just in case anything. You just never know. Now, do I think he gonna kill me for it? Hell no, he better not.
They gotta know where to find it. And then, I spoke with an old man one day. He was like, always put up in my safe. I say, okay, so who got the combination? Nobody. How we gonna get in the safe?
How they gonna get in the safe?
Who's the beneficiary? Leave something so they can get in the dang on safe.
Yeah.
Like it be little things like that they just don't think about. It's like, it's in the safe. It's in the safe deposit box at my bank, but who got the other key?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because like even people like my mama just be like, what's your social? She ain't telling you nothing else. What's your social security number? And we like, okay, we're going to send it to her because, mom asked for it or whatever. Well, what the hell she need that for? But that's all of that stuff, setting that stuff up. And
New policies.
Right.
Yeah.
That lady.
Like, but tell us so we can know who to call, where to find it.
Right.
What's your final wishes?
Because the company not going to call you.
The
company not gonna call you and be like, we got a notification of death. Did you want to come get your money?
They don't even look. They don't even have a way to know you died.
No, I told them.
And don't nobody tell them. That's crazy. Did not know that. So you got to physically make that phone call. Such and such died. Oh, I was just about to bring that up, sister. You literally just read my mind. Like, so let's get in a little deeper, just for a few minutes. Like how. And wills are.
There she go. This happens to her every.
You need your will set up, your trust, your power of attorney,
There
your
she go.
estate planning. It even go deeper than the wills.
It's so
And I
important to
think
have a
it's
will in
hard.
place.
It's
You
hard
have
to have
pros,
a
Nene.
conversation when you don't have wealth, right? Like, what
Right.
am I gonna leave my apartment? No, you know what I'm saying. So it wouldn't dawn on me to have a will set up when you don't have anything particular. I think when you
Well,
got kids,
no,
you
I
need
mean,
to.
you get to be so particular, and this does not have any. It doesn't have. You can have $0, Joyce, but you telling your wishes as to, like, who do you want taking care of your child?
Yeah. No,
Who
that
would you
I feel
prefer?
like
Who would you prefer her to? Whose care would you prefer her to be under?
Yeah.
I think the minute that I realized that it was important to have them type of conversations when I got into the industry that I'm in now, and I saw families fighting over what day of the week are we gonna bury dad, what church, because he was over here, now he over here, who gonna be the minister, and they fought over every little detail. And then it was important to, like, okay, somebody should have wrote this down, even if it's not notarized in front of the world. Somebody should have sat down and had a conversation of, if something happens to me, this is what I want to happen. This is who I want to have my car. This is who I want to take my children, or, manage my finances, because it turns into this bickering between siblings. I only have one sibling and she passed away already. And so for me, somebody needs to say to me, hey, dumbass, you still got a kid, right? Like, who's going to manage all that part of it if something happens to you? And just complete honesty, until somebody said it in front of me and I saw it go bad. That was not something that was on my mind.
I like to remind people of the situation that happened with Chadwick Boseman when he passed away. I don't know if y'all remember, but it was in the media. His estate had a settlement of $3.8 million. His family only received 1.5. The government took 1.5, and then 1.5 went towards the court fees and things like that.
Because
had he had a will in place, his family would have got their whole 3.8 million. But because he didn't, the government came and ate up all his money.
Right.
Like I said,
which was crazy because he knew he was sick.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, why not? Why wouldn't you have stuff set in place when you know you're dying?
And I gotta be honest. That is something that I know I'm supposed to do, and I have been putting it off. Like, my best friend, like, she did hers years ago, and every time I go, we supposed to sit down and do mine, and we have.
I was supposed to do mine before Nitra left a year ago,
and I have to, like, put this down because I have to get that done, like, ASAP, because like, it could be a whole mess if you don't, like, and then I don't want to be mad and come back hunting nobody, okay?
Right.
Because look, I'm getting in details. Don't take no freaking pictures. Don't post me on Facebook.
Please don't put me on no t-shirt with no wings behind me.
None of that. None of that.
That's what I told my kids. Like, don't be doing all this extravagant.
Played and that song played.
Every year my birthday come, y'all want to have a party. Don't do nothing. Just bring me some flowers, even though I'm not there. But don't be doing nothing that's gonna cost y'all much.
Right.
I think when you got a big family, when you have multiple children and multiple siblings, it seems like the most important thing. But when it's just you, it's so easy. And maybe I'm making an excuse for myself, but I find it so easy to just not. Like, I had the conversation with my mom, like, if something happened to me, you gotta take my kid. You like, all this is on you because it's only
and
you.
then put it in writing, because if her dad's still living,
girl, you almost made me say something. Don't do that.
Because you know they come back, like, even if they not around like that, but they get a win and you ain't here, they go and fight. Now your mama and somebody in court. So it's like, still put it on paper.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yep. Set up a trust, so when if something happens to you before your baby is old enough and she's still classified as a minor, set up that trust so she know, funds can be dispersed to her on a monthly basis, or however you set it up. You ain't got to worry about nobody else touching that money and not giving her what it is she needs.
And is that something that should be done through, like, a financial advisor, or like
it definitely should be done through a financial professional. Like, it has to be notarized. It's legalized, set in stone, and to me, it trumps the beneficiary. If I put such and such as my beneficiary on here, but I put in my will and say I want this, this, and this done. I mean, that's just what it got to be, because that's the will. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important. Very important.
Will's important, and I say the next one is that power of attorney.
Yeah,
because if you laying there unconscious in a coma, like what? Who in charge?
Right, like somebody has
to happen.
Somebody has that decision on whether to take you off life support.
Ooh, that was the hardest thing.
That's a big one.
Can I say that's the thing that you need to write down somewhere? Like, don't make your family decide if they need to unplug you or not. That needs to be already predetermined. That needs to be written down. That needs to be, this was what she wanted. And I know it's what she wanted because here go the paper that she wrote on. And somebody signed behind her that said she wanted that. That is like my dad and my sister were both unplugged 6 months apart. For a family, that is the most traumatic thing that I can think of. And then you have the person like me that my sister would have been on life support for 100 years and I never would have unplugged her. And I don't give a damn what the medical professional said, right? That's not a decision I would have ever. Why would I think that she would want to be dead? Nobody wants to be dead, right? That ain't the right decision. So to have that already determined where it's not family against each other, because I got to be honest in saying I felt very against my mom for being in support of unplugging her. To me, I felt like you killing her, right? Truth being the truth, she was already gone. But if it was already set out, that wouldn't have even been a conversation. You know what I mean?
Because you would have known that that's what she wanted.
I would have known that's what she wanted.
I went against my mom's wishes. She said, do not resuscitate her. I resuscitated her anyway. I was selfish. I wanted my mom. You know, I kept her plugged up for as long as I could. But, you know, reality hit and I'm like, this is what she wanted. Again, that was one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make. You know, just pulling that plug. But if it was up to me, I would have kept her. So you ain't by yourself on that.
Because although my granddaddy's still living, he left that up to me for my grandma.
Wow.
Like, you the spouse. And he didn't want to do nothing. Like, he was like, what you think? Not the kids. Not y'all 5 kids y'all had together. Y'all skipped over all, you skipped over all of them and put it on me.
Because
so that was hard because you don't know if all the what if questions. And I tried to ask them doctor like every which way, like, are you sure she's already gone? And then that play on your mental, like that bothered me for a long time. Like, okay, if I had done it, she just kind of woke up on her own. Like, until you went through it, it's hard to explain, but it really plays on you mentally.
Y'all about to have me tearing up.
Because you don't know if they could have survived or not.
And then you see that
my grandma was like this. So it's like, Dad, did I let her down? Like, would she have done that to me? Like, why you leaving this on me?
Right.
And then I have to plan the funeral.
I be myself. What if I would have kept her on there? What if this? What if that? It's
like it really bothers you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was probably
maybe we need to do a will party.
That would be great.
Or like a legal doc party.
That sounds
fun. Make sure I'm invited to that one. So I can get all my stuff done.
Right.
And what's crazy, so T said, I never thought about that until I was on life support, but can I say that my sister had been on life support before? So everything in my brain was like, we've done this before. She made it. Like, she survived, so she'll be fine. Like, everything in my brain says she'll be fine. I never, ever, ever would have unplugged her. And then I remember seeing a couple months later, there was a story of somebody that was on life support for like 6 months or some crazy shit. And then they just woke up and asked for something random, right? And I'm like, see, y'all unplugged her too soon. Like, you didn't give it 6 months. You know what I'm saying? It's unrealistic and it's selfish. And it like just having somebody say to you, it's selfish. Like,
you don't know if you keeping them from that peace and release of pain and they transition. Like, it's hard. You don't know.
The sight of seeing my mom hooked up to all those machines and her body just jerking and having all those seizures, that's so unsightly. And it clicked for me then. Like, no, I'm not about to have my mama laying here for months going through that. Right. I'm not about to do that. So
now, I've never been through anything like that, but I would like to think that, you know, I would probably make the decision to
And then it's selfish on us because we want to keep them here. Suffer. So then you just really got to think about it. Like, do you want them suffering like that? Do they even want to live like that? And I know my grandma would have been the one to not want to be here if she couldn't take care of herself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I work in senior living, and I always say I can't afford this. So I hope that my mom lives to be an old person. But when she old, like, I'm not going to be able to spend that $4,000 a month to put her in there because we didn't have these types of conversations and family planning, you know what I mean, on the front end. And now that we have all these resources available where we can educate ourselves, where we can have the conversations, it's just hard to know what to even ask or who to talk to or what to talk about once y'all finally sit down together to know kind of what things you need to do to prepare yourself and to help prepare your family. Because it's too many times that I've met families that I'm trying to help, but they can't afford it. They can't afford to put their mom somewhere that they would want them to be, and all the kids got to come together and try to stretch their finances to make it work. You know, I know that's separate from dying altogether, but when you're talking about quality of life, we don't plan for tomorrow in the ways that we should.
Right. The same urgency people have when it comes to planning cruises and vacations, we need to have the same urgency when it comes to planning our life insurance and the rest of everything get sorted out. Because, I mean, it's bold of us to assume if I plan a vacation for spring break next year, it's very bold to assume that I'll be here to be a part of it, you know, vacation. We don't know if we're gonna make it to tomorrow. So, like I said, the same urgency we got when it comes to planning other stuff, we need to have the same urgency when it comes to life insurance. I think that another thing with us is that we want instant gratification. Mm-hmm. So we feel like we paying into something, we ain't benefiting from it, or she ain't finna pass away. It's gonna be years and years and years. Okay, still pay that premium. You never know the day of the hour. You don't know what could happen tomorrow. But like I said, we're coming from a place of instant gratification where we need it now. And that's why I think a lot of people don't see the value in it, because they thinking, how is this going to benefit me now? Is it going to benefit me at all? So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the people that get the insurance, now they trying to get the insurance. It's not even really because they trying to leave legacy behind. Okay. Now they listen to all these TikTokers and YouTubes telling them they can borrow the money and you're going to be rich tomorrow, which is a whole lie. All the infinite banking and all the stuff now you want it because you think you can, have this policy for 30 days and then take out of it. And it don't work like that.
Whole time it's a 3-year waiting period before you can even contribute toward the cash.
Sometimes it's 6 years before I even get $1.
But baby, they listen to these Facebook gurus, child.
You in your 30s and you get a IUL, infinite banking, whatever they want to call it now, Beyond Bank line. You got to be like in your 80s to even
on the market.
Borrow anything from it for it to even be worth you taking it out.
Wow.
So that's why I believe in mutual funds.
Absolutely.
Then you get a whole life policy because you can borrow from it, but it's going to take you about 20, 30 years for it to accumulate anything for you to borrow from it. That's what they're not telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So you getting a policy.
I said that, did not.
Like, 30 days from now, let me borrow $100,000 because I got a $300,000 policy. It don't work like that.
So what's the best kind of a policy for somebody that's in their 20s and 30s?
Definitely term life. Definitely a term policy. Also, with that term policy, like she mentioned, you definitely want to set up some type of investment. A mutual fund would be the best way. You can open up a mutual fund for as low as $25 a month, and the interest that account is going to gain, over the length of that policy, by the time that term is up, you will basically have been put yourself in a position to where now you can self-insure yourself. That's basically what I like to paint the picture for a lot of people. Trying to show you how to eliminate a bill. Nobody wants to pay a bill their entire life. Well, if I can show you how to buy wealth until you build it, aka buy a life insurance policy until you can, match the coverage amount in which you would. Like I said, if you open up an investment account to go along with your policy and the length of its term, by the time the end of that term is here, like I said, you're at a point where you're self-insured. You won't need a $50,000 policy, $100,000 policy when you've accumulated well over that, in your investment accounts. Now, I tell people all the time, be real careful about a situation like that. You don't ever want to tie in your investments with your life insurance. Life insurance is not an investment product, first and foremost. Life insurance is strictly just that, life insurance. That's it. Nothing else to it. When it comes to, like she said, the mutual funds, people will say, well, I don't understand investing. I don't understand the market, things like that. Well, the good thing about a mutual fund is managed by a group of professionals. Like they do this all day long. They watch the markets, they watching the stocks. They looking at, the par values going up and down, things like that. So you don't have to worry about, what is my money doing? Is it going up or going down? Am I losing? Am I gaining? There are financial professionals that are managing this account for you. So you don't even have to worry about that. Only thing that you have to maintain is making sure you paying into the account and you're paying your premium. And like I said, over the course of that policy, over the length of time, you will eventually become self-insured. So, I would say for a young person, term insurance would definitely be the best bet because for one, it's the cheapest and it's the most affordable. Whole life is typically on the more expensive side. You'll get a small amount of coverage, but you'll have a very large premium. So for the average consumer, that's not the best product for them. For the young and healthiest person, and like I said, term.
That's what Ebony told me.
Even with the whole life, people don't know. A lot of people don't know what's accumulated when you die. The insurance company keep it. So your family's still not even getting what you wasn't saved for all these years. They gonna just get that death benefit.
Yep. Wow.
So all the other money just went back to the company that you could have invested if you had another plan.
Yep. That's why I tell people all the time, do not tie your life insurance into your investments. And the cash value product is the worst thing to get because like she said, you're going to have to forfeit one or the other. If I got a death benefit for $50,000 and I got a cash value for $50,000, I mean, I'm automatically thinking my family's owed $100,000. No, they can only get one or the other. They either going to get $50,000 from the cash value or they're going to get $50,000 for the death benefit, but they can't get both. And I tell people that all the time. You make sure you have something outside of your life insurance, to fall back on because especially if you're going to be investing into that type of product. Like I said, a lot of times it comes down to people just not understanding what they're paying for. Now, being that whole life insurance is the product that's typically pushed in our communities because what they won't say is that there's a large commission attached to that for the agent and the company. In no way it benefits the consumer. So I tell people all the time, make sure that your agent is outlining the fine print and you're understanding exactly how this policy works. Because with people going around thinking that they can invest in the cash value and then they're going to have all this money to claim when they die, that's not it. It's not it.
What company would you recommend?
What company I would recommend? Oh, I would recommend the number one company in financial services, Primerica. Absolutely.
That's what I was saying. It sounds like me and her with the same company. So, like, let me see.
So, you know what? I will vouch for
we the only company with a 35-year term. So when people say the term expires, it don't expire. Well, ours don't expire. So we the only company with a 35-year term, and after that, you can renew it.
Absolutely.
You can decrease it, you can increase it when you older. So that's why we push the investing part of it and not that whole life that's accumulating because we know the company gonna keep it.
Right. And I get the objection all the time. Well, I think I want whole life because I want someone to place my whole life. Child, your whole life could be from 1 year old to 15. You don't know when it's gonna end. So everybody just assume that they gonna live to age 100. I want to place my whole life. What is your whole life? You don't even know.
Right.
I'm sitting right next to the Xfinity is gonna get a phone call in the morning. Okay, because my $100
they always trip
something. They charge so much and it just keeps spinning and I hate it. I'm sorry, y'all.
But yeah, I definitely recommend, like I said, number one financial services company in the nation, got more than 5 million life insurance clients, more than 2 million investment clients. Like I said, with this company, and I stand by this because I've actually seen this company do right by the customer. Like any other, and a lot of people don't even know, I've worked with different agencies before. I happened to actually work with a whole life agency. I was actually working with Primerica first, and then I ended up leaving and I ended up coming back because I'm out there in the field and I'm observing these products and I'm sitting in front of these families and I'm like, I can't sell them this shit. It ain't gonna do nothing for them. It's not gonna benefit them. So I had to come back home, y'all. I had to come home and where I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm like, I actually know that this company does right by its people. A lot of people don't even know that Primerica was the only company to pay out during 9/11. Everybody else had all these different excuses, all these different aviation clauses, war clauses, saying this, saying that. Primerica was the only company that paid.
Because they cover war and terror.
Yep. And I think we isn't the suicide after 2 years? Is it after 2 or 3?
2.
Yep.
Companies,
they ain't gonna do it.
Our insurance do cover suicide, long as you done had your policy over 2 years. Yep. We talked about this at the beginning, how that's not covered, but I forgot that there is a clause in Primerica for it. After a certain length of time.
After 2 years and 1 day, they cover it.
Wow.
It's still, I mean, I kind of get why it's.
And a lot of companies pick that up now because companies didn't cover suicide. But now they do because it's a high rate, but they cover it. Some 3 years, some 2. Ours 2, some 2, some 3. So they do cover it because it's just kind of common now, I guess, than what it was probably back then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, they cover suicide, war and terror, if you died childbirth, like everything that a lot of companies don't cover, they do cover.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it just all comes down to researching the company, looking into the fine print of the product, understanding the product, and just knowing how it works. A lot of people just, they paying their money into stuff just because they feel like it's something I got it. So, it's some type of insurance. At least I got insurance, so I'm going to pay for it. Congratulations for even taking that step to get something in place, but you want to make sure that you have the right coverage in place because, again, it could backfire. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where it comes down to just typically understanding the product.
And I will say, so me and Nene have had Primerica since we was teenagers. This is strictly a coincidence that Asia recommends Primerica. And I found out last month or a month and a half ago when I went to Ebony to get more coverage that she was Primerica. And I was like, girl, because at first I was like, girl, no, I already got Primerica. I want another company. Like, I don't want the same companies with insurance.
Right.
But
but you want the right one.
Right. And there's several benefits tied into the policy. We got the child rider, we got the guaranteed insurability, we got the waiver of premium, the automatic increase, we got the terminal illness rider. It's so many good benefits attached to it. And like I said, you just got to understand how it works.
Is Gerber Life good?
Oh, no, ma'am. That's Whole Life.
I was about to say that's like one of them $2 ones.
It's Whole Life, and it's like $1 or $2 a month. And I'm sure they got a whole bunch of fine print in there.
You know what? I never fell for that. When you had your babies when we were younger, and they used to always send them little pamphlets in the mail. Yep. I never fell for it. I was like, this too cheap. Something up with this.
Right.
And it's probably only accidental.
See, me, I'm all for saving the buck.
Nitra says she needs to
cheap,
switch.
I'm like,
Who you got, Nitra? Who you got, Nitra? And why you didn't follow
Right, she ain't follow y'all footsteps. Wait a minute, Tamika, did y'all have a conversation though? Did y'all say go with this company because we've been here over 20 years? Did y'all have a conversation?
They told her none.
Yeah, that's what she said. Why don't you have Primerica? That's a good question.
Y'all don't get it together. I'm telling you.
So is another thing I've been talking to people too about trying to take it a step further for the generational wealth, because that's what another reason why we all want the life insurance is to get it on your siblings. Get it on each other. Like all the siblings have it on each other, so y'all know everybody kids taken care of.
Sorry, y'all, before my internet act up again. So term is the best insurance to have, not whole life.
Absolutely. Right. And I stand by
that's what. Yeah, you're gonna have to replay
Primerica term.
I'm gonna replay it because I have a term and a whole life policy. And the whole life policy is like you said, expensive as hell. But I thought just, you know.
So they're gonna tell you to get rid of it because you missed all of that. When you pass all of that extra that you paid into it that you supposed to get, they
The
keep.
savings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to forfeit your cash value.
They
so
forfeit. You forfeit your cash value, and they just pay out the premium.
Yep.
Okay, we will be switching.
And what company is that?
That one is AM Income.
Mm-hmm.
So is it better?
And we can't say what to do with that, you know, extra, but you know what to do with it.
Get rid of it.
Come and get a whole another
term policy.
Like,
so is it better to have multiple policies with one company or to have just a larger policy with one company?
Good question.
To me, one policy will do it. Simply because, like I said, if we're taking the necessary precautions to actually make sure we're taking the steps to set up generational wealth, life insurance wouldn't be the only tool that we're using to do that. Like we mentioned earlier, investing through the mutual funds, which allow us to, you know, have these different types of accounts that's growing our money. And not only just, you know, growing the money, we have to understand how fast this money can grow, which, like we said, the mutual fund will be the perfect option simply because you have financial professionals that are managing that account, and the interest rates on there, you know, are typically at least 12%. The average market rate is 12%. At least that's what the market has been returning, 12%. So you want at least 12% or higher on your investment accounts. That way, like we said, once that policy has succeeded, you're at a point now where you're self-insured. Like I said earlier, the only two valid reasons for not being insured is, you know, self-accumulated wealth, or you got bad health, so now you're not, you know, insurable at this point. Because, I mean, say for instance, like I said, if I, you know, invested $200 a month from this point on for all the way up until I'm about 60 years old into a mutual fund, that'll roughly come out to be about $1.2 million. If I got $1.2 million, you know, in my account, in my pocket, do I really need $100,000 life insurance policy? I don't. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think, like I said, it just all comes down to having the right product and having your money in the right vehicle so that you can be able to, you know, set up that generational wealth for your family. And again, life insurance is not the only tool to do that. So, you know, I just tell people all the time, make sure that you have something in addition to the policy, but you don't want everything just to be tied into a policy.
Right. Have all type of investment accounts.
We got designated
to do different things.
Do your children follow under your policy, or
absolutely
they all have separate policies?
So let me tell you about this good old thing called the child rider. Two things, right? So once you list one child on the child rider, all the rest of them are included of no additional cost. So if you got 10 kids, once you add one,
they get added on.
Cover the rest of the 9 of them that's left. The second thing, right? And I tell people all the time, this is a great way to set up your children to have their own. They're going to ride your policy all the way up. I think they just changed the age to 25. It was 21. So once you put your child on there, they're going to ride your policy all the way up until the age of 25. Once they reach age 25, they would then go through the conversion method to where your policy would then convert into an individual policy for them. And they'll only be paying what I want to say no more than $10 for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at that point, you can increase it.
Yep.
Because with Primerica, the highest you can get on the child ride is $50,000.
Yep.
So once they turn 25, then you can increase it to a $200,000 or $300,000 policy, and they only paying about $15 to $20.
Mm-hmm.
And just educate them to keep it up, or you can still pay it. You can still pay it, but increase it.
Like it's like $15-$20. Like
because they still not gonna really be that responsible to pay it. You can still pay it, but increase it at the same time, because now they adults, so they can get those bigger policies now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because so Man is 23, so he got 2 more years as a rider under mine, and then he will switch over to his own.
Yep.
And then we just set up where he has a policy on me and the kids. How does it go, Ebony?
No, you'll have to go through and redo it with your agent. Y'all go through and just, plug in the information. But I think the only thing that you would have to change in terms of the policy will be the policy owner, whether you would still be the owner of that policy or whether they would be the owner of their own policy. And then, of course, you would go on there and add his beneficiaries, well, whoever he wants the beneficiaries to be and stuff like that. But other than that, everything else will remain the same, like same benefits.
So it just kind of convert automatically. Yes. You just say yes.
Right.
It'll just convert, and then from there I was just say increase it.
Mm-hmm. That's so good to know. That is so good to know. I think Nene is froze again.
Nene probably got to move to another part of the house.
Yeah. Well, we've been going an hour and 30 minutes, so I guess we can wrap it up anyway. And y'all have gave so much valuable information. So thank y'all so much, Ebony and Asia. Tell everybody where they can follow y'all if they want to reach out to y'all for more information on insurance. Both of you guys can provide those products for them and get them the best coverage.
Yes,
absolutely. I'm real active on Facebook, more so other than any other social media platform. I'm always on Facebook, so y'all can find me on my Facebook page. Just type in my name, as y'all see it right there, Asia Jackson. You can also locate my business page, which I do a lot of advertisements through. It's Jackson and Associates. Type it in, you'll find my picture. Pretty much on Facebook, y'all can find me.
Right. I'm trying to tap into Instagram, but right now Facebook is Ebony Unique. IG is Wall Street Wealth Producers _ and my Facebook business page is Wall Street Wealth Producers.
I gotta make sure to add all of y'all.
And just for everybody viewing, if somebody wants to sign up, can they reach out to you directly to say, hey, can you help me get a policy, or is it only in certain areas, or how does that part of it work?
Absolutely.
Just reach out, shoot me a message. I can help them all over.
Yeah.
All over the US.
Yeah.
So super dope. So super dope.
Thank you, ladies.
And another thing I want to add for the people that's uninsurable, that trust fund is another way that you can start it up and just let it build up something. And they can use that as well toward funeral expenses. And you can add beneficiaries to that as well.
Good.
We look forward to hearing some of y'all reach out now. Don't be on here now, Ken, y'all.
Y'all need to get covered. Like, just say life insurance is not for you. It's a way of, when you're gone, telling your loved ones, I love you. And I do not want to leave you with stress and burden when you're already grieving and hurt.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. No more questions. Anybody got anything before we get off?
I don't think so.
No more excuses. There's no reason after today nobody should not have life insurance. Reach out to me or Asia.
And thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe. Me, Nene, and Joyce always appreciate y'all. You got something to say? You're muted.
Who got the best internet service?
Oh my God. That's a whole other topic. I got AT&T fiber. So
I got it through Verizon through my phone.
Look. Thank y'all for joining us. Please subscribe on YouTube to Conversations with Mika and Friends. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. And
I'm about to send all y'all a friend request.
Thanks for having me on.
Get in on the conversation. We talk about these type of topics. We talk about the fun and crazy things going on. Why is she calling? That's my sister, y'all. I'm sorry. I guess she could get on Facebook, but not on this. You got the weight. I'm sorry. She's messing up my outro.
You need like answer. I want to say something.
That's her calling you too, Joyce.
She like answer. I want to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We need y'all to subscribe, hit the bell button, get in on any conversations. If you guys know anyone that has a business that they would like to promote, have them reach out to us. If they want to discuss a certain topic, have them reach out to us. We're trying to have all type of a variety of topics, and this was definitely a jewel. So thank you, Asia and Ebony, again. And
welcome.
Joyce, please take us out with your random thought.
Thank y'all. Y'all been amazing. I was being funny. No, I'm sitting right here by my box. I was being funny, like, who got the fucking best internet?
We heard you.
Oh, okay.
We heard you.
As soon as I said it, everybody started spinning again. I'm like, oh, I'm about to scream. I'm calling their asses in the morning, y'all. I promise you I am. Because I don't like to miss out on what we talking about. Like she said, this has been so powerful.
This was definitely a jewel. Yeah, I promise it was.
So I'm gonna run it back though.
You got any last comments, Nene? Before
absolutely. I'll give you a sandwich and a penny while you here, but don't ask me for $1 on your GoFundMe. The answer is no. The answer is no. But I'll give you a penny and $1, goddammit, and a sandwich while you here. I got you. But yeah.
Don't leave y'all family hanging like that. Don't even do it to them.
All right, Joyce, take us out with your random thought of the day.
Let's go, Joyce.
So in the spirit of all things serious, right, I just want to say we're in the age of a modern day woman, and modern day women apparently don't cook. So your fish fry will not be a success. Please do subscribe and get you some life insurance so your GoFundMe can go well.
That part.